Imagine waking up tomorrow to find every major city on Earth completely empty. No bodies in the streets, no evidence of a final war, no signs of struggle, just absolute silence. Over 1,000 years ago, this exact scenario happened. Millions of citizens belonging to one of the most advanced civilizations on the planet walked away from their homes and simply vanished from the historical record. They left behind colossal stone pyramids and massive infrastructural footprints. Yet the exact reason for the absolute vanishing of their population remains a terrifying unsolved mystery. Look at the massive Kukulkan pyramid at Chichen Itza. Its sheer geometric scale and strict urban planning erase any outdated myths of a primitive society. During the exact same period when much of Europe was retreating into isolated stone fortresses, like the medieval castle you see here, the Maya were systematically mapping out the cosmos. This grid of carved Maya hieroglyphs shows a deeply literate culture. They developed a comprehensive written language, fully capable of tracking complex civic records, dynastic histories, and scientific observations over generations. This surviving codex page reveals their crowning intellectual achievement. These dense mathematical glyphs represent predictive models so accurate they calculated planetary alignments centuries in advance. These precise numerical datasets formed the backbone of their society, dictating religious ceremonies, urban expansion, and agricultural planning. They were undisputed masters of foresight. They knew exactly where the stars would be 1,000 years in the future, which makes their sudden, complete inability to prevent their own doom an extraordinary paradox. Then, at the very height of their golden age, the progress stopped. Massive temple construction projects were abandoned half-finished, and entire lineages of powerful kings completely disappeared from history. Soil samples and ancient climate data reveal a grim physical reality. A prolonged, catastrophic drought scorched their fields, decimated their crops, and entirely wiped out their agricultural foundation. Without reliable food, the social contract shattered. Starvation fractured the once unified empire, turning neighboring cities into bitter rivals, locked in endless, brutal warfare for dwindling survival resources. You can see the cascading, measurable effect of these combined failures on this map of their empire. Notice how the dense regional populations rapidly shrink and the trade routes dissolve, fracturing the society into small, isolated pockets. Here lies the bitter irony of their demise. Their vast cosmic knowledge of the stars was utterly useless against the localized, earthly realities of starvation and war. These intricate stoneworks depict a deep-seated religious fatalism, the terrifying belief that their gods could and would instantly annihilate humanity at any moment. Because they viewed time as a repeating cycle, the Maya elite used their mathematical precision to map out future disasters, essentially turning their calendars into a guide for an inevitable, looming end. When the catastrophic drought arrived alongside the exact celestial alignments they had predicted, like the total solar eclipse seen here, the Maya elite interpreted it as the physical manifestation of their own apocalyptic prophecies. This validation of their worst fears triggered a total breakdown in civic order. Convinced the end was pre-written, leaders turned to escalating sacrifices and radical rituals in a desperate, failed attempt to appease the heavens. Their greatest strength, their prophetic foresight, mutated into a fatal psychological vulnerability. They didn't just lose their crops, they lost their belief in a future, causing them to tear their own empire apart from within out of sheer cosmic terror. Over the centuries that followed, the natural environment rushed in to reclaim the land. As you can see, once thriving stone metropolises were entirely consumed and buried by the encroaching jungle canopy. Look at the sheer scale of the Temple of Inscriptions set against this dark forested hillside. It illustrates the daunting task modern explorers and archaeologists face, navigating darkness and fog just to piece together the fragments of a lost world. History itself seemingly tried to bury their existence, leaving only massive stone echoes of an empire that should have ruled the globe. Even today, with all our modern forensic science and satellite mapping, The exact formula that caused millions of people to permanently abandon their cities remains unproven. The Maya remain a chilling reminder of how even the most precise knowledge can fail to prevent a collapse when it collides with a changing environment. Their history suggests that intelligence alone cannot engineer a way out of a crisis when the fundamental resources that sustain life and the psychological order that governs society simply vanish. While some empires die in spectacular fire, the most terrifying ones simply disappear into silence. Subscribe to Veil of Empires for more cinematic journeys into the darkest mysteries